affordable housing, loose-fitting pants, and cheap internet porn. It's Harmless Phosphorescence. Hello, everyone. There's something I'm not telling you, something secret, something locked away deep inside. I'm Throw Smiley, and I'm your host this week. Who's joining me?
I'm Josh CC, and let's hope you don't get horribly murdered, too.
With great power comes great bitches. I'm Brian Lesh.
I'm Alaric Weber, and you're sitting on my gargoyle.
And this is Harmless Phosphorescence. It's the podcast where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production and the source material, then we tell you all about it. And this show is brought to you by our patrons. Patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. You can be a patron too. Just head over to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. We've got Star Wars stuff there, holiday stuff there, music stuff there. And by stuff, I mean us talking about those things. So head on over, patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. $1 a month gets you started, guys. But this week on Harmless Phosphorescence, we're watching Superhero Movie.
City of darkness, where evil runs free. The people need a hero.
Who am I? I'm Dragonfly.
Stop!
The story of my life is not for the faint of heart.
Stop the bot!
Seven genetically enhanced super dragonflies.
But there's only 6 in there.
From the makers of Scary Movie and The Naked Gun comes the ultimate superhero movie.
I think I have superpowers. I can walk on walls, I have super strength, super agility.
Honor.
Take cover! Uncle Albert.
With great power comes... Hey!
Just try to breathe.
I can't. You're nailing on my crotch.
Family.
Hi, everybody, take your seat.
Sacrifice.
I realize we can never be together.
You love me, Rick? I know you do.
I'm telling you this for your own good.
This spring, if you think you've seen it all, you have no idea.
Superhero movie. It was released March 28th, 2008, with a running time of 86 minutes, budget of $35 million, basically doubled its money at $71.2 million. So, yeah.
It made a little bit of money.
Yeah, it did. It did absolutely fine for, like a kind of a dumb comedy. Yeah, it did what it was supposed to do. So, definitely. I was just wondering, everybody... Are you ready to play the box office top 10 game?
Oh, yeah.
Always.
All right. This is the game where I am going to have the guys guess where they think this movie opened in the top 10 of the week of March 28th, 2008. And then I'll read down the top 10 movies of the week only by the Box Office Mojo description of those movies. So... let's start with Brian. Brian, where do you think this movie opened?
It's a comedy. It's March. Doubled its money almost. I'll just say number 3.
Brian says number 3. Al, what do you think?
Oh, I was aiming right at 3 myself. Let's go with 4.
Al says 4. Josh, it's up to you now. Where are you thinking?
I was thinking both 3 and 4. Do I want to go 5 or 2? Let's go 2. Let's go 2, Bob.
All right. Josh goes 2, not 34. Josh goes number 2. All right. Your votes are locked in. And the weakest link is... all right. Here we go. Counting down the top 10 of the week of March 28th, 2008. Coming in at number 10. Martine offers Terry a lead on a foolproof bank hit in London's Baker Street. She targets a room full of safe deposit boxes worth millions in cash and jewelry, along with a treasure trove of dirty secrets.
The Thomas Crown Affair?
No. That was a painting, wasn't that one? They stole a painting?
Oh, yeah. I think
this
so.
is the one about Nazi gold.
Is it?
Yeah.
Looks like that may be Tom Hardy. No. Oh, no, Jason Statham.
Yeah. Oh. Maybe it's not the one about Nazi gold.
This one is, it has one of those titles where it's just like, this is the thing we're doing.
The heist.
Close.
The hoist.
Robbery.
The hoist. We're lifting
The
it
robbery.
up. The bank job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Number 9.
I thought that was a movie about a recently hired teller
He's like,
and their escapade.
Mumsy, I have gotten the bank job for which I applied.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
So I'd swim and stay already. Number 9. When an overachieving high school student decides to travel around the country to choose the perfect college, her overprotective cop father decides to accompany her to keep her on the straight and narrow. This is starring Martin Lawrence and Raven Simone.
Oh. I don't know. That didn't help at all.
It's another one where it's like, this is what we're doing. This is the thing we're doing.
College Drive.
Oh, you were so close, Josh.
College trip?
College road trip.
Oh, that is so Raven.
That is. Opening this week at number 8. A veteran soldier returns from his completed tour of duty in Iraq, only to find his life turned upside down when he is arbitrarily ordered to return to field duty by the Army.
The Fresh Prince of Fallujah?
I added flipped. That wasn't in the actual description.
Oh,
Any guesses on the movie? The Fresh Prince of Fallujah was a good gun.
Something of Honor.
Nah, it's you guys aren't going to get this one. Stop Loss.
Oh shit!
There's a bunch of movies that we did not see this week. That was opening this week. Coming in at number 7. In the prehistoric past, Deleh is a mammoth hunter who bonds with the beautiful Evelette. When warriors on horseback capture Evelette and the tribesmen, Deleh must embark on an odyssey to save his true love.
Is this the Croods?
No. It's 10,000 BC.
Mm-hmm. Josh gets 10,000 points for 10,000 BC. The Croods, by the way, just came out with a sequel 8 years later.
They were frozen in ice.
Yeah. Because, we were clamoring for a sequel to The Croods.
Give us what we want.
Number 6 this week. A newly married couple discovers disturbing ghostly images and photographs they develop after a tragic accident. Fearing the manifestations may be connected, they investigate and learn that some mysteries are better left unsolved.
Scooby-Doo 2.
The Mystery of Scooby-Doo Island. He named an island after himself.
The Conjuring.
Oh, no. Any guesses?
Connected.
And think about photographs. Photographs.
Okay. Let's see. A selfie.
Dark Room.
Dark Room. Is it Dark Room? That's a fantastic title.
That's 2-hour photo.
Shutter.
Oh. Shitter.
Yeah. And the sequel, Shutter Island, Scooby-Doo 2.
The Revenge of Dr.
No Bits.
Dr. Do.
The Revenge of Dr. Do.
Scooby-Doo is an honorable doctor.
He's like, I did not spend 8 years at medical school to be called Mr. Do. Coming in at number 5, 3 kids hire a low-budget bodyguard to protect them from the playground bully. I forgot this movie existed.
Drill Bit Taylor.
Oh, yes. Yes, and Josh gets 1 point for each of the Wilson brothers that are never attempted suicide.
Wow.
Oh yes.
I'm sorry, I went unnecessarily dark there. Unnecessarily so. I'm sorry, Wilson brothers. You're both really nice.
Do you get any point for that? There are a couple of other Wilson brothers, though.
Oh, wait. There's more than Luke and Owen?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that's in Bottle Rocket is their brother, too.
Andrew, yeah. I think.
Wait, I did not. Whoa, you're blowing my mind. This is like the third Olsen twin.
Yeah. It's
He's only in Bottle
I
Rocket,
was just
though.
going to say that when they revealed
Elizabeth
they're
Olsen.
Yeah, Elizabeth the Third Olsen twin.
And
The
she's somehow
cloning.
like half a foot taller than both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with Andrew. He's huge too. He's like a big buff guy. It's weird.
Huh.
I think that's his name. Just gonna go with that.
She's not a billionaire. I wonder if they share. Probably not. They are.
Yeah, they are, but
They're a billionaire.
but they're also. I don't know. She's also seemed a lot happier than
Yes, she does.
they do because she just gets to have fun with like Robert Downey Jr. and
Whoa, right.
Vision. Yeah.
Exactly. Her sisters, if you have to be around Dave Coulier that much for that long,
You eventually turn Canadian.
no, it's got to leave a scar.
Yeah, it does.
A pit in the stomach.
Like I
Like
won't.
Dave will not stop doing impressions.
Yeah.
We're 3 years into this goddamn show.
Like Dave, why don't you cut it the fuck out?
Okay, so where are we at 5?
We are at number. That was number 5. Coming in at number 4.
Okay.
A single mom takes her family to Georgia for the funeral of her father, a man she never met. There, her clan is introduced to the crass, fun-loving Brown family.
Her clan.
Wow. I don't know.
Starring Angela Bassett,
Oh, okay. How?
Tyler Perry,
Okay.
and 3 other names I can't read on this tiny thumbnail.
Tyler Perry presents.
Scooby Doo.
Tyler Perry.
And
Tyler
the island. Oh, sorry.
Tyler Perry presents Medea Do in a Tyler Perry joint. Meet the Browns.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. Coming in at number 3 this week, orphaned high school student Rick Riker is bitten by a radioactive dragonfly, develops superpowers except for the ability to fly, and becomes a hero. Brian gets it.
Brian.
Brian gets 3 points for
Awesome.
getting it right.
Not too shabby.
yeah.
He's down.
Dinner with Drake Bell.
He's down 9,997 points to Josh, who remembered.
I can lose mine at any second. You know that, Throw.
It's true.
Depreciate quickly. You got to spend them while you got them.
Yeah, spend them fast. It's like Zimbabwe dollars. Like the inflation's insane.
It's like camel cash.
Yeah.
You can almost get a jacket.
Yeah. Number 2 this week. Wow. How to describe this without giving it away. Our hero struggles to protect a community from his neighbors who refuse to believe it exists.
Whoa, what?
I had to leave out some major spoilers there.
Is it The Village?
No.
All right.
Is it a Harry Potter?
No.
Okay.
It is.
Is it a Mary Potter?
No. It is animated. It has Jim Carrey and Steve Carell.
It does.
And it is
Cloudy?
based on a popular children's book.
Oh, Mr. Popper's Penguins?
No.
Let's see. The Megorium?
No.
Emporium.
I'm just going to let you guys keep naming almost titles. Titles that are almost movies.
That are almost movies, like Stand and Deliver. And
This was Horton Hears a Who.
does he?
That one actually wasn't terrible.
Lots of cocaine in that movie.
Yeah. Okay, coming in at number 1 of the week of March 28th, 2008. Opening this week also. A fact-based story about 6 MIT students who were trained to become experts in card counting and subsequently took Vegas casinos for millions in winnings.
I remember the movie. Oh, the book. I bet that was cool.
The book. It had a different title than the movie did. This was what's his face? Old creepy Christmas message guy.
Kevin Spacey.
Yep.
Kevin Spacey.
It's called
it's a blackjack phrase.
Yeah, double down.
No. It's
hit me.
It's literally the simplest.
Sir, get up from the table.
It's the simplest, most obvious blackjack phrase that could possibly exist.
Blackjack?
No. Okay, second most. Second.
Hit me.
21?
Yes, it's called 21. And with that, Brian gets 21 of Josh's 10,000 points.
I'll take
my
it.
God. Only narcs call it 21.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah.
Blackjack.
Yeah. So
The book
that,
is really interesting. They detail how they actually count the cards.
Yeah, that's something.
Whereas the movie, it's just like visual, like fucking math in
oh
the air.
God, yeah,
floating
all
above their
that
heads.
bullshit.
So stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that is the box office top 10 for the week, which brings us to superhero movie. So Al, give us the extensive comic history of the character Dragonfly.
Okay. Starting in... I'm done.
Oh,
I thought
you could have made some up for us.
Yeah, you could have said that like Leslie Nielsen played him in like a 1950s serial.
There are many things I could have said.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go with. I thought you were going to go with starting March 28th, 2008. The character of Dragonfly premiered in this movie, superhero movie.
Previously
I wish I'd
seen
thought that
on
far ahead. Yeah.
back tattoos.
Yeah.
Dragonfly went on to appear in several Kojak TV movies.
So, okay, this is, for everyone who's not aware, this is a parody film.
Yeah.
Anybody who didn't realize that going into this podcast and this movie, it is a parody film. The very first parody film was 1905's The Little Train Robbery, which was a parody of The Great Train Robbery.
Yeah, with Harold Lloyd.
Yeah, which was a parody of that, filmed entirely with children.
Oh, that's so cute.
I know.
Oh.
I wish
all those kids got a day off from the factory.
Yeah. There's a long and storied history. So they've been making parody films basically since films existed. In the 1920s, we had Dr. Pickle and Mr. Pride. Something called Yes, Yes, Nanette. I have no idea what it was parodying, but I kind of want to see it. In the 1930s, let's see, we had Alibaba Goes to Town, Satan Met a Lady. I just love titles of old movies.
Yeah.
Movie Crazy from 1932. You Nasty Spy from 1940.
40? We're only at 40? Oh.
Oh my God. This is our comic book history here.
Right. And then, of course, the kind of the granddaddy of all of them, Dr. Strangelove, which was a parody of, in that it adapted a book which had previously been adapted as a serious movie.
Well, and war movies, sort of.
And war movies in general, yes. And then, of course, the granddaddy of the... Well, okay, so then in the 70s, all right, we've got Young Frankenstein, the Mel Brooks stuff, Blazing Saddles. Young Frankenstein's a pretty straightforward, like, pastiche of the old Universal
James
films.
Whale, Universal. Yeah.
But then the granddaddy of this particular flavor of parody film, Airplane.
Yes.
From Zucker, Abrams Zucker.
And that changed film comedy.
Yeah, absolutely. Forever. It was broad. It was insanely wacky. Like, laugh per minute went up incredibly compared to what it had previously been. And that was from 1980. And
so then they started making
their
other parody movies. Yeah.
Right. We had Naked Gun, the Naked Gun parodies.
Hot Shots.
Then into the 90s, we had the spy one with Val Kilmer. What was that one? That was
Top Secret. That's a funny one.
Top Secret. Yeah. That was good. Then we had The Naked Truth, Fatal Instinct, Silence of the Hams.
Fair enough.
We had a few. We had a few offshoots which were very similar. Fear of a Black Hat was great.
Yeah.
Spy Hard. So yeah, a lot of these Leslie Nielsen ones. Then let's see, Wrongfully Accused.
One of my favorites, if I may, is Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
And
it hits the beats as well as this one does, actually.
Right. And then kind of setting the template for the 2000s version of this, we had Scary Movie.
Yes.
Which
course.
started the whole something movie trend.
Yeah.
Scary Movie was written by the Wayans and some dudes named Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer.
Okay.
Those guys are the ones that did Spy Hard, Date Movie, Disaster Movie, Vampires Suck, Epic Movie, Meet the Spartans, The Starving Games, Super Fast, which is a parody of Fast and the Furious. Those guys make terrible movies.
I feel like that one's lazy.
Yeah. Those guys make terrible movies, and honestly, until this one came up, I thought they made this movie too.
Huh.
But they didn't. They did not make superhero movies. Superhero Movie was written and directed by Craig Mazin. We'll get to him in a second. This was produced. This was produced and was originally supposed to be directed by David Zucker of Zucker Abrams Zucker, who did Airplane and the Naked Gun series. So he is still a producer on it. You can really see his fingerprints all over it.
Oh yeah. In fact, we'll get there, but he borrowed some of his own gags.
Oh yeah,
heavily.
Yeah. So Craig Mazin, who wrote and directed this, he also wrote the 1997 movie Rocketman, the 1998 movie Senseless, and he was the director of the movie that I realized too late we missed. We talked about this, never on air before, The Specials, which was written, he directed that. The Specials was written by James Gunn. It was his first superhero movie, and it was a parody of superheroes. So that's one we're going to come back to once we catch up here in like a year and a half to 2 years. But he also wrote Scary Movie 3. He wrote Scary Movie 4, School for Scoundrels. He wrote The Hangover Part 2. He wrote The Hangover Part 3.
Somebody had to.
Yeah. And he is the creator, executive producer, and writer of Chernobyl, the HBO series.
Wow.
Once I saw his name, I was like, he did Chernobyl, right? That was his that was his baby.
Yeah. And he also did the Hangover sequels and scary movies in this thing.
Chernobyl is one of the greatest pieces of like film that I've seen in like on television, at least in a while.
Chernobyl was awesome.
Was incredible.
I watched the first one actually.
Yeah. Not the most historically accurate thing, but still compelling
But it hits the iceberg in the end, so we kind of know.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen.
He did a great job of making choices, I think, in there's a lot of complaint about like British accents and things like that, but they were all distinct choices.
Yeah. I mean, when you're making a movie for an English language audience, you have to make choices with that. So, all right. He wrote and directed it. This film stars, superhero movie stars, Drake Bell, who his first movie was Drifting School in 1995. He was in Jerry Maguire. He was in High Fidelity. He played young Rob. He was in Yours, Mine, and Ours, but he's mostly known as Drake from Drake and Josh, the 2000s Disney series.
Oh, huh. All right.
He was in a trilogy of Fairly Odd Parents movies. He was the voice of Peter Parker in Ultimate Spider-Man on Disney XD. And he did some Pokemon Red and Blue commercials.
Oh, not exactly a lightweight.
Yeah. Sarah Paxton starred as Jill. So everybody in this, except for the uncle and aunt, have alliterative names: Rick Riker, Jill Johnson, Lou Landers, Lance Landers.
Well, we've talked about it many times. The alliteration is huge in comics.
Yep. So yeah, Sarah Paxton starred as Jill. She was
Literally.
She was her first film. She was a child in Liar Liar. Let's see. She was Aquamarine, Haunted Lighthouse. She was in a bunch of films throughout the late 90s, early 2000s. This was her first starring role. After
she
this,
was familiar to me, but
after this, she was in Last House on the Left, the 2009 version. After that, not a bunch of stuff I've heard of. Her most recent film credit is The Front Runner from 2018. On television, let's see, she was in Passions for a while.
That's where I know her from.
Oh, she was in Greetings from Tucson. You guys remember that show? Early 2000s. She did some stuff on CSI. A lot of guest spots. Will and Grace, Malcolm in the Middle, Wizards of Waverly Place. Recently, she is currently on the show Good Girls. She's been in 3 episodes as Amber Dooley. Christopher McDonald as Lou Landers. Woo!
Shooter McGavin,
yeah. Daryl and Thelma and Louise. He was in Requiem for a Dream. Ugh.
He's a notable character actor.
He is. Yeah, he's that guy where you're always like, oh, that guy.
Yeah.
He's not the only one from Requiem in this. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Keith David.
Oh my God. Yeah. Let's see. He was in Outrageous Fortune, the Shelley Long, Bette Midler movie.
Don't knock it till you tried it.
That movie's great. I love that movie.
Yeah.
He was in Breakin'. Let's see.
Who was he?
Yeah. Who was he in Breakin'?
No, I just said was he.
Okay.
Wow.
Grumpy Old Men, Fatal Instinct, Monkey Trouble in 1994.
Apes a poppin'.
Terminal Velocity, Shooter McGavin, of course, and Happy Gilmore. He played Ward Cleaver in the Leave It to Beaver movie. Flubber. SLC Punk. Oh, that movie's so good.
Wow.
The Skulls. The Man Who Wasn't There. What's he doing these days? What's his most recent work?
His most recent one? I got it. We Can Be Heroes.
He's in the sequel.
Oh my God.
He's in the sequel to Sharkboy and Lavagirl.
Jude made me watch that the night before last. I watched We Can Be Heroes. It's going to be on this. It'll be on this show eventually, guys. So you'll get to see it too.
He plays President Neil Anami.
President Neil Anami. Read that backwards, Al.
I'm an alien.
Yes.
Okay.
You knew it.
Spoiler.
That's the level that movie's on. It is 100% a sequel to Sharkboy and Lavagirl. 100%.
It wasn't hiding.
No.
Sadly, though, Taylor Lautner did not come back as Sharkboy.
He did not.
Yeah.
He did not return, and thusly Sharkboy had no lines. He just he wore a mask and danced around.
No recasting for us.
Jude made
that's a shame.
Jude made the point, and I'm sure we'll talk about this in 2 years when we do that movie, but there's still Sharkboy and Lavagirl. Will he never be a shark man?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's existential.
Right. We got Leslie Nielsen as Albert Riker. Leslie Nielsen, the late great.
The man.
Yeah, the man, the myth, the legend. So he did not start out as a comedian.
Sea Hunt, right? Was that one of the things he was on? In the 50s?
Yes. Well, he was and he was in his first film was 1955's Battle of Gettysburg. The first film that anyone still remembers is Forbidden Planet.
Well, I love it. Was so old that Battle at Gettysburg was just a guy who was there filming.
Leslie Nielsen, he was basically a B movie leading man throughout the 50s and 60s. Beau Geste, Dark Intruder, The Plainsman, a lot of movies that we don't remember.
But all serious.
Yes.
He was not a comedian. Yeah.
He was not a comedian. They cast him in the 1970s.
Airplane, right? Was that his first parody?
Airplane.
Comedy?
Yeah. Well, no. His first comedy was 1977's The Kentucky Fried Movie.
Oh.
And so after that, they cast him in Airplane. And the reason they cast him is because he was so serious. It's kind of like the reason that they cast Andre Braugher as Captain Holt. He's just so serious that they cast him as the serious guy. And then, oh my God, he was in Airplane and Prom Night in 1980.
Whoa. Prom Night.
Yeah. Creep Show, of course, he was in. He is best known as Lieutenant Frank Drebin from the Naked Gun series.
So good.
So good. And he did all of those Zucker movies after that. Dracula, Dead and Loving It, Spy Hard, Wrongfully Accused. The second
Dracula was Mel Brooks.
Yeah, that's right. He was in some of the Scary Movies. Oh no, in 2009 he was in something called Spanish Movie. Oh no. Oh, that looks terrible. Oh no, I just learned this existed.
And Stan Helsing.
Oh God. Oh no.
Imagine the best part of your movie being the title.
Oh no. Spanish Movie was his last credited role.
Oh no. I feel like that's got a John Candy vibe to it. Like, oh no.
Yeah.
That was what they were working on.
Yeah. Oh God. All right. So we've got Kevin Hart as Trey. I would like to point out that this movie came out in 2008. At that time, Kevin Hart was 30 years old.
Yeah.
Well, and they sort of laugh at that. Maybe it was unintentionally, but after a certain point early on, Trey is mostly hanging out with his uncle, with Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, they spend a lot of time together. So yeah, it's Kevin Hart. Everyone knows who Kevin Hart is.
He's adorable.
Yeah, he's a cute little guy. His first movie was Paper Soldiers, then Scary Movie 3. He started out as a stand-up though.
Still is a stand-up.
Yeah. Best known as a stand-up. In fact, he just had a new one come out on Netflix.
Yeah.
So it's Kevin Hart. I'm not going to go through all of his stuff. Marion Ross as Lucille Riker. Woo! Best known as Mrs. Cunningham from Happy Days. She actually got her start in the 50s as a leading lady. She was in the Glenn Miller Story, Sabrina, Lust for Life, Teacher's Pet, Operation Petticoat. And in 1971, she starred in a movie called Honky. I don't know what that is, but I want to watch it now. She was
Arthur.
She was also on the 1950s television show The Lone Ranger. Ryan Hansen played Lance Landers. He was on Veronica Mars. That's where I know him from that and Party Down the most. You guys watch Party Down?
No. The Caterers.
The Caterers, yeah.
Yeah.
With that,
yeah.
That's a great show. Great show. Young Lizzie Kaplan, yeah.
No, Ken Marino, one of my favorite.
Oh God, Ken Marino is great.
Comic film, yeah.
Yeah, Ken Marino, Adam Scott, Martin Starr was on it. Jennifer Coolidge, Megan Mullally. Great show. Then Robert Joy played Stephen Hawking.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So problematic. It's so funny.
He's been in 1980 in the movie Atlantic City, he played Dave Matthews. I have to assume not the one we're thinking of. Bum,
no.
Bum, bum, bum.
He just goes by Dave.
Yeah. He was in Amityville 3D, Desperately Seeking Susan, Radio Days. Big Shots, Shadows and Fogs. Looks like he did a lot of Woody Allen stuff. Waterworld. Oh no. Harriet the Spy. This dude worked, man.
Who are he? I'm sorry, I missed that completely.
Stephen Hawking. The guy that played Stephen Hawking, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so...
He did work, and then after this movie, did not work.
He did not. Brent Spiner played Dr. Strom. Data. Mr. Data. He was also in Independence Day. And Independence Day Resurgence. Oh, my God. He survived Independence Day. I had no idea.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Jeffrey Tambor. Noted asshole.
Well, yeah. Chris McDonald. Who was the second guy we named?
Leslie Nielsen.
No, just now. No, never mind. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I got derailed.
All right. Yeah. So Jeffrey Tambor, Hank Kingsley, he played George Bluth Sr., Mara Pfefferman in Transparent until he got fired for being an asshole. Jeffrey Tambor. We saw him in Hellboy previously. We'll see him again in Hellboy 2.
Good.
Tracy Morgan playing Professor X.
Yep.
What?
I love Tracy.
All I have to do is say the name Liz Lemon, and his voice just pops into my mind.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Anytime I think of Googling something.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Hey Liz Lemon, can I borrow your computer to Google myself? Oof. That joke never gets old.
Never. How else are you going to do it?
And then he just points at her. He goes in.
Ooh, yeah. So from Saturday Night Live, 30 Rock, he thankfully recovered from that car accident he was in a couple of years ago. So Tracy Morgan.
Oh yeah. In fact, that was hilarious when Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle that hosted SNL not that long ago, and the monologue had like Eddie Murphy and they're all talking about their rise to fame. They get to Tracy. He's like, I made most of my money on the road. I got hit by a Walmart truck.
Oh man. Regina Hall played Mrs. Xavier. Alex, you okay there, Josh? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Mrs. Xavier. Regina Hall got her start. She was on Ally McBeal. She's currently on Black Monday. She was in the Scary Movie franchise. Think Like a Man, About Last Night, Girls Trip. Pamela,
did you guys look at the movie poster that I sent you?
Yeah.
It was just linked to IMDb that I saw.
Right. But on the movie poster, it was Regina Hall was Storm.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, no, I get the feeling they cut a lot of stuff out about the school, Professor X school.
Probably, but I think they were trying to tease her as Storm. Maybe they were trying to keep Mrs. Xavier a secret.
Oh, huh. I mean...
Well, it's a great sight gag.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, and like I chuckled when it was her, and I'm like, oh, that's clever. His wife is also bald in a wheelchair. But when the two kids come out and they're wearing the same suits and they're bald, yeah, that was a spit take for me.
Pamela Anderson played the Invisible Girl. Pamela Anderson, noted lover of large penises and best known for Baywatch and Home Improvement. Oh, and VIP. Barbed Wire, which we'll eventually add to our list of movies we maybe should have done but didn't. Simon Rex as the Human Torch.
What?
Remember the Human Torch was in this very scene?
I do.
Who was in Shriek, If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th. The Forsaken, Going Greek, Scary Movie 3, The Karate Dog, National Lampoon's Pledge This, Rise, Blood Hunter, and American. This dude's
the subtitle of that National Lampoon movie.
Pledge This. This guy's list of credits is insane. Sunny Dreamweaver, The Truth About Angels, Sperm Donor, Slightly Single in L.A., Scary Movie, Scary Movie 5, Hallowweed, Two Shorts Boombox.
Okay, I'm writing that one down.
And in 2018, Avengers of Justice, Farce Wars.
Another one from 2018. It was a short film called Racist Superman.
Oh, no.
And
I vaguely remember.
He played Jewish Superman.
Wasn't Superman already Jewish?
Well,
from outer space, but
many critics say, but yes, the two creators of Superman were Jewish gentlemen.
I thought it was, that was the intent behind it.
Red Sea pedestrians.
Making a Jewish Superman just seems like, oh, okay. Like, I guess,
He's a fucking alien, and don't ever forget it.
Yeah.
He could convert, he could.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure.
But don't turn your back on the alien.
Craig Berko as Wolverine. I forgot Wolverine was in this. I don't know. He was in the Valerie Bertinelli Matthew Perry sitcom called Sydney. That was before Friends.
So Craig Bierko, according to IMDb, the scenes that he filmed as Wolverine were deleted.
Yeah, probably.
So who was Wolverine in this? There was a shot of Wolverine, right?
Yes. Richard Tillman was leg shaving Wolverine.
Okay.
Were they just trying not to get sued?
Maybe. That's the only time we saw Wolverine was when he was shaving his legs.
Because that's clearly parody, and maybe if him talking would be cross the line. And
maybe I saw him in one of those deleted scenes they ran during the credits, but I thought he was in two scenes. Or there was a tiny Wolverine with him, like his son. All right, moving on.
I don't remember. There was stuff in the trailer that wasn't in the movie too, so
Of course.
So, all right. Robert Hayes played Blaine Riker, best known as Ted Stryker in Airplane.
It was fun to see him.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Nicole Sullivan, she's kind of funny.
Yeah.
She was Mrs. Wayne.
So he was. Oh, he also played the lead in Starman, the series, the one that was based on the John Carpenter movie. Did anyone watch that? I watched it when I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
He did the voice of Tony Stark on the Iron Man cartoon from the 90s. And he played Robert Seaver in Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey. And then, of course, Nicole Sullivan as, what was her first name? Julia Riker. She was on Mad TV, King of Queens. She did some voices on Buzz Lightyear and Kim Possible. She was in Cougar Town. She's currently on Blackish. Dan Castellaneta played the head of the board. Dan Castellaneta, Homer himself. Homer
Simpson.
Yep. Homer Simpson, Krusty, Grandpa Simpson, Mayor Quimby, Groundskeeper Willie, Hans Moleman, Sideshow Mel, man of 1,000 voices. He does tons of guest spots on sitcoms and occasionally shows up in a movie.
Yeah, on Parks and Rec, he's the NPR host.
Oh, that's right.
At the local radio station.
That's right. Keith David played Chief Carlin.
Yeah, Keith David.
You know him from Platoon, The Thing. There's Something About Mary.
So good in that.
Is it The Frank and the Beans?
Yeah, I'm just fucking with you, Ted.
Barbershop. He had a good season on Community.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he was in let's see. I don't know. He's been in a ton of stuff. He was that's right. He was in he did a voice on Spawn, apparently. The animated Spawn. It says Marissa Lauren is Storm.
Oh, that's right. She was in this, wasn't she? She electrocuted Xavier.
Yeah. That was correct. Yeah.
So, all right. So, yeah, I'm just going to run through these next ones. Miles Fisher played Tom Cruise.
You're fine.
It's okay.
You're going to run down these? Are there still actors in
there's like 12.
We would know.
There's like 12 more. I was just going to run through them real fast here, guys. Miles Fisher is Tom Cruise. Charlene Tilton is Mrs. Johnson. Sean Shimon is Barry Bonds. Freddie Pierce is Tony Bennett. Howard Mungo as Nelson Mandela. Lil Kim played Xavier's daughter.
I believe he played Phony Bennett.
Yeah, Lil Kim is Xavier's daughter. Kurt Fuller is Mr. Thompson, and Aki Along as the Dalai Lama.
All right.
So that gets us through that. Some reviews. Rotten Tomatoes. It has 17% on Rotten Tomatoes. And let's see. Tony Horkins of Empire wrote, "The superpowered spoof just doesn't fly."
Oh my God. Every time.
Hank Sarton wrote, this one comes up a lot. Quote, "not available."
For graphic content.
Let me see. There was one on here that I loved. Where is it? Okay. OatVOF writes, "Superhero the movie is that type of movie that we watch, and then we want to discover what was broadcast."
What?
I don't know.
Secret messages?
And Murillo writes, "It is not moving nor interesting. Bad. Script is boring and weak. We are characters."
All right, English may not be their first language.
I'm assuming. I'm hoping. So,
yeah.
guys, are you ready to talk about Superhero the movie? You ready to jump in here?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, there was. All right.
I usually get a quip from you, Al. Damn it.
Yeah, I was unprepared.
That's all right.
Yeah, we'll let it go this time. But this is your last warning, mister.
This is a formal reprimand.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am going to write a memo of concern. Here we go. This is Superhero Movie. We open with a credit sequence. It's a lot of close-up shots of a superhero costume. So going through and actually just writing down the plot of this thing was insane, because the plot is not the point of this movie.
No.
At all.
But I would want to say it's kind of confusing because it's not serious at all. But at the same time, I feel like they were the right kind of parody because they took it seriously. This opening seems like it could be a superhero movie opening.
Oh, yeah.
And then all the scenes they recreated from especially Spiderman, but it was almost spot on in some scenes.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of them were like very much just Spider-Man.
Took it seriously is all I was saying.
Yeah. All right. So we cut to high schooler Rick Riker. He's chasing the school bus. So I don't mention gags here at all. So if anyone wants to jump in anytime.
I have one thing. While funny, so he runs into the bus's mirror, and then he turns around, he runs into the bus's stop sign, and then the doors open and like smack him.
Yep.
While hilarious, I needed to point out that the stop sign is on the wrong side of the bus.
You're right.
Ooh, that's a great point.
Why would it be on the sidewalk side?
Right.
Maybe it was the European bus. I don't know.
Well, I will admit that as soon as I saw him get hit by the mirror that hard, that was the first guffaw. And there were many to follow. But I do love physical comedy. I think it is hilarious. I can't stomach when I see an actual person get hurt. So it's not a Schadenfreude thing, but just from a comedy point of view. It looked like he hit that so hard.
Yeah, the hits just kept on coming too. They really opened with a bang with that gag.
Yeah, they did. I gotta say, I never watched Drake and Josh. I'm way too old to have watched Drake and Josh, but
yeah, same here.
This kid was good. He really he had good timing. He was the right role.
Yeah,
he reminded me of like he was very similar to Anna Faris in Scary Movie. I thought.
Oh yeah.
The straight.
The facial mannerisms, the haircut, the face. I don't know. They look like they could be brother and sister. To me, that was just my personal opinion. But then also at times he had a very Jason Bateman vibe.
It's kind of understated. Yeah, he was all right.
Yeah, so he gets on the bus. We find out he's...
In fact, he wasn't just all right. He had more light in his eyes than Tobey Maguire.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, he didn't have that dead alien face. So, all right, he gets on the bus. You find out he's in love with Jill Johnson. She's got a boyfriend. Rick sits with his best friend, Trey, Kevin Hart.
Yeah, he stayed back a lot. In school.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, they're on their way to a field trip, some sort of science thing. We get a bunch of eye device jokes.
We forgot to mention the newest clique in school.
The Rick Punchers.
The Rick Punchers.
Oh, yeah, Trey punches him and says, "Am I in?" No.
They're new.
Come on.
Some of the other cliques, of course, the jocks, nerds, and emos. The Frodos.
That made me laugh. The Frodos made me
The Scarface
laugh.
Society.
Yeah.
And the Sexual Predators.
Yeah, they were all men in their 50s and 60s.
Oh,
on the
God.
School bus. So the bus stopped for them.
God. All right, so they're on their way to a field trip. It's a science-y thing, and Trey tells Rick to forget about Jill. They arrive at Amalgamated Pharmaceuticals, where they're given a tour by Dr. Strom, Brent Spiner. In the animal lab, there's
the labinal.
Oh my God, the animal lab scene. All right, so
again, I'll point out he took I feel like he took actual lines from Spider-Man. Like it was very accurate in between being ridiculous.
Yeah, can I take your picture?
Yeah,
I'm taking this for the school newspaper. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a story about a girl at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It really, it very straightforwardly was just doing Spider-Man almost exactly. I loved that they pointed out that losing one of these super-powered bugs is actually probably a pretty big deal. And they just shrug it off. Strom says, oh, well, that's nothing. I lost 6 tigers just last month.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I will say, I'll just throw it out there now so I don't have to bring it up again. There were a little too many animal jokes where animals aren't doing great.
There's a lot of animal jokes.
I find no humor in that. So,
yeah,
that's my disclaimer. It was more than I expected.
There were a lot of fart jokes. There were some poop jokes.
I expected both of those.
Yeah. There was a lot of animals humping Rick jokes.
I expected that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right.
Yeah, lots of animals died in this movie.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one animal dying joke that we'll get to that I thought was actually really funny, but we'll get there.
Oh, cool.
Sorry. That sounds awful saying it out loud, but yeah, we'll get there.
We all have to forgive ourselves for the things we enjoyed about this movie.
Yeah,
seriously.
Say that right now.
Yeah. Let me say, this isn't a good movie, but it was funny. It was definitely funny.
Yeah. You will laugh and feel bad for laughing if you watch this movie.
So, all right, he tries to flirt with Jill. He gets bullied by Lance. He meets the owner of the company, Lou Landers, who knew his parents. That's good cough blood. Made me laugh.
Yeah, I wrote that down as a tag. Yeah, no, he says healthy.
Healthy cough blood.
That's healthy cough blood.
And when he recognizes the kid's Rick's name, he's like, "Oh, or you wouldn't be the son of Blaine and Julia Riker? How are they? Oh, they died violently 9 years ago, but otherwise okay.
Yeah. Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
Yeah,
I think we've all had that social interaction with someone before too. Where it's just like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah,
Did you not hear what I said?
They died.
Yeah, well, and then he says, well, let's hope you don't get violently murdered.
That was
So yeah, he gets bitten by a genetically modified dragonfly. He goes home where he lives with his aunt and uncle, which is Leslie Nielsen and Mrs. Cunningham. He isn't feeling well, so he goes upstairs and falls asleep after Leslie Nielsen reads him a book about girls puberty. Yeah.
Okay, so when we saw Leslie Nielsen, when they revealed him, he was reading the paper, but he went upstairs with that book. So that means he had been reading that.
Yeah.
I love the reveal of him behind the newspaper. Because, it was one of those moments where I was like, yes, Leslie Nielsen's in this. I'm sure any adult that took their kid to see this movie was like, oh, this makes sense.
It's better than a hat reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
His line just before Rick passes out, he hands him a beer. He's like, the rituals of manhood. Today you have your first beer. Tomorrow we'll circumcise you.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, at the lab, Mr. Landers is telling the board of directors that he has an hour left to live. But
wait, is anybody else going to laugh? Because the opening of this scene, Brent Spiner, I believe, thinks he's looking at a portrait of Christopher.
No, Dan Castellaneta. Dan Castellaneta.
Yeah. Oh.
God, I love that because the portrait reminds you of Willem Dafoe and his Green Goblin shit.
Yeah.
but then coming out from behind,
and it's a window.
I love that comedy. Yeah, with velvet curtains behind it. Though
that's the
perfectly played.
See, that's okay. So that's the difference. All the other ones, like the epic movie, date movie, Meet the Spartans, all of those were literally just references to the movies. Like they would This one, there were actually gags that had nothing to do with the film itself. Like they were just funny gags that were put in. Like
that's the Zucker touch.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So all right, he has an hour. Yeah, things like not being able to get the sheet off the chair.
Right.
Turning
that. Go ahead.
Turning over the hourglass. It was an hour left to live. Turns it over, and Brent Spiner says it was on sale.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's the gags that, like you said, have nothing to do with the parody. It's on Airplane, the kid who's reading Nun's Life and the nun who's reading Boy's Life.
Yeah.
That's not a disaster movie staple. That's just funny.
It's just a joke. Yeah. It's just a joke, guys.
It's just a joke. Get over it.
So, all right.
Hopefully.
Yeah. All right. So he has an hour left to live, but he's invented a device that will restore a body to perfect health. He tests it on himself, and it goes terribly wrong, giving him the power to suck the life force out of other people, but they die.
Did anybody hear the list of insanity? I know one was talks to cats, and the other was date Paula Abdul. First of all, it's 10 years after the Paula Abdul. But then I thought of MC Scat Cat and how he was a cat and he dated Paula Abdul.
Oh, man. I hope he's doing okay these days.
I wonder.
Scat Cat.
Tax evasion.
All right. So Rick, meanwhile, has slept 5 days. He feels much better now. He spies on Jill next door and then goes to school where Stephen Hawking is visiting the science fair.
The bit where she takes her bra off and there's a bra underneath it was so satisfying.
So satisfying. It's just a comfortable joke.
Yeah.
A harmless joke.
Yeah. Well, and then just Leslie Nielsen rolling over and nuzzling him. When he asked how long was I sleeping, it's like 5 days. So at the school fair, he's developing powers, speed, dexterity, and sticky hands.
It's like the reflexes of a dragonfly.
Yeah, exactly.
They mentioned when they introduced Stephen Hawking, they mentioned that he is so he's a special guest judge at the science fair, but he's a visiting professor at Empire City University, working with the rare element ceruleum. This is a setup for the plot, right? But I looked it up to see if it was. I knew it wasn't really a thing. There's cerium and there's beryllium are two different elements. But, however, I did find out that from Star Wars, ceruleum is a building material used in droid construction.
Oh. And it's only on one planet.
Probably.
Made completely of ceruleum.
Oh, God. All right. So he gets in a fight with Lance. Chaos erupts. A swarm of killer bees is accidentally released.
By Stephen Hawking, who falls into the enclosure.
Yes.
And instead of pulling them out, they thrust him in and out of the bees. I laughed way too hard at that shit, man.
I loved Lance's line when he bumps into Rick, where he says, "Watch where you're going in slow-mo, dipshit."
That's right.
Well, and I want to point out that and I didn't know he'd be reoccurring, but in this scene of Stephen Hawking, the bits aren't revolving so much around him being in the wheelchair. It's the voice that comes out of his computer.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because they could have changed up that voice.
Well, and so many of the jokes involve him just being horny.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
His introduction of just, you guys can have sex. I haven't had sex in 30 years.
I think about suicide every day.
Yeah, that was rough.
That was rough. All right. So.
Oh, so dark.
Yeah. So later he experiments with the sticky powers of his hands by climbing a wall. We get that's a direct parody of the Spider-Man scene. And he does the break dancing, and there's the cat because it's just turned the camera sideways.
The cat made me laugh.
Yeah,
the cat made me.
It's like the old Batman climbing up the building with the rope.
Yes, the sideways climb. It begged a question for me. Are Spider-Man's feet sticky, or does he, pretty much just pull himself up? Okay, how do they get through the costume or shoes in this case? Rick had shoes on.
I think he just has that much upper body strength.
Okay, that was my
that's the way I view it. Is he's got like 10,000 times the upper body strength.
Right, and with his feet, he's kind of bracing his feet against the wall, but it's not like they're sticky.
All right. Okay, that science checks out.
So, all right, he then saves an old lady from getting hit by a truck. Only for her to somehow that wood chipper was so high. How did she get up there?
No, and what are they chipping on this busy metropolitan street?
What happened was the one with the dog hanging from the leash and just slowly getting dragged up into the wood chipper. Oh, and he just keeps looking over nervously. Oh, that animal death made me laugh.
Yeah,
I thought that was going to be the one.
Yeah, that was the funniest, definitely. All right, so
her and the wood chipper was funny. I think they should have stopped as the dog was at the very top, and and then they'd have him maybe like spitting back and forth. But no, they shredded him.
He was going to get a bank loan to buy a car because the girl wanted him to pick him up. Right? That was why he was there.
No, we're not there yet.
That's later.
That's coming.
Okay, that's later on. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. I thought this was all the same scene.
No,
it's all the same scene.
Movie, It was really just one big scene. This movie.
It's all in the same location, I'm sure.
Right.
Oh yeah, exactly. Soundstage City.
Yeah, they had one corner back lot, and that was it.
City, yeah.
All right. So Rick goes home. He tells his uncle and Trey about his powers. He and his
some really funny jokes in this.
Yeah. He and his uncle get in an argument.
Okay, every time he said Uncle Albert, I immediately, we're so sorry, Uncle Albert.
I kept thinking
every time. But yeah, he shoots a nail from his nail gun. Pardon me. And of course, Rick catches it. And Dre's like, "How'd you do that?" Rick said, "Oh, it's a lot easier than you think." And Leslie Nielsen casually slams the nail into Trey's hand. It's just, he didn't even pause. You know what I mean? Leslie Nielsen was just immediately like, "Well, let's see." And I think that at the end of the scene, there was another one of those. Like, no.
Oh, yeah. Dodge a punch.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And, yeah.
Throw a punch.
And then he punches Trey.
Oh, no. He says, "I'll bet you can't land a single one." And he turns and punches Trey. And so he landed a punch.
Gives him $100.
Rick gives him 100. He's all, easy money.
Yeah.
Good job. That's a good joke. Well crafted.
Yeah.
Unexpected. There were a lot of unexpected moments in this scene.
Yeah, absolutely. Rick goes outside. He remembers when his parents were murdered, coming out of an opera. Murdered by him, kinda.
Yeah.
And
but I'm so glad they did the scene because we've joked about it so many times.
Oh God, yes, the scene of the parents getting killed in the alley, crime alley.
Crime alley.
Well, we get a couple of weird moments besides the parents getting shot by him as a kid. He is speaking to himself as a child from the future.
Oh
yeah.
And he says, like, don't invest your money in that little company, Google. Sell all that Google stock. It's better off than Enron.
No, isn't it his dad telling him that as his dad was dying?
That's right. Okay.
Sell the Google stock. It's not going anywhere. Invest in Enron.
And that's how Rick Riker went from being a billionaire to living in Queens.
Yeah.
Like, just that bit was so dumb but so funny, timely. If you don't remember Enron, they tanked in like 06?
Yeah, when the economy crashed. Yeah.
Like leading up to that, right? It was before it. I thought.
But speaking of that,
it was like right before.
Yeah, the Zuckers, I guess the way ensue, but they love to have topical, dated jokes.
Yeah,
in these movies. You know, Britney Spears was mentioned. I think some others, but
there was it's coming up later on, but the most dated joke I think I've ever heard, I only barely remembered the reference, was when he says, "Al, do you not want me to say it?"
I was going to save it for later.
Okay, I'll save it. I'll let you have it, Al. I'll let you have it. All right.
That is great. That's gracious.
All right. So then Jill comes outside from next door. They flirt. She wants him to drive her around, so he decides to go buy a car.
This is the funniest joke in the whole movie.
Yeah.
The gunshots in the house, the screaming cat. She comes down the stairs and her mother yells, "Oh, sorry, but don't be a whore like your mother." And he asks, "Who's that?" "My mother."
My mother. And I love that she's like, "Oh, you heard that?"
Gunshots.
So he gets an email from Professor X telling him about his powers. We get a 2 girls, 1 cup reference.
Yes, that was a dated. Oh,
the screen breaks up. He tells him squat on a glass table. 2 girls, 1 cup. Like, what is happening?
Broken instructions. Yeah.
The cars that he's looking at online, because he says his budget is $300 to the whatever car search, and the first one that comes up is like a 1983
Nissan
shitbox.
Yeah.
Shitbox.
And then I should have written it down. The second one was like a brand new Hyundai or something like that. It's like a brand new car for $300. Whatever it was.
So,
should have written it down. Sorry.
That's next time out, you won't be so lucky.
I know you're handing out warnings like mad today.
All right, so he decides to go get a bank loan to buy a car, but they won't give him a loan. So there's a robbery. He doesn't stop the thief, and outside the thief shoots his uncle.
But all those people are gathered around the dancing monkey.
Yeah.
It's like,
is everyone okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a dead guy over here.
That guy got shot.
Yeah. Then meanwhile, Mr. Landers discovers he has to keep sucking people's health to stay alive. There's that whole bit with his secretary's corpse and the
He's like,
cleaning guy.
And he said to Brent Spider, he's like, well, what about if I killed 28 people at once? Would that get me through a whole month? No, only in February.
Yeah.
At the hospital.
I love that it's not a cumulative. That's like a classic superhero thing where it's like, there's a catch.
And Landers does the like confused look. Like, that's not what I was saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying, could I build it up? Yeah.
At the hospital, Rick visits his uncle, who's in a coma. Then on the way home, Rick is confronted by Professor X, the man who sent him the email. He visits the school for superheroes. There's just a bunch of gags and nothing actually happens except that Mrs. X tells him he should make himself a costume.
Oh, I'll say it again. The two kids in the suits that match. Oh.
And then the baby.
Yes, the baby
in the wheelchair.
Baby X. Yeah.
Sneezo, I thought was kind of funny.
Oh, yeah.
A, the name, and B, that he like sneezed someone's head to pieces.
Yeah. And the people that can run through walls and people who think they can run through walls. Yeah. So, all right.
But it's easy to get the vibe that a lot of the X school stuff was cut, or a lot of the X-Men stuff was cut in favor of Spider-Man parody.
Because this is it. There's nothing else here, like from the X stuff after the scene. It's just gone.
This is all speculation, but I have a feeling that Marvel is more protective of their properties than Sony or Universal, whoever had Batman at the time.
That makes sense.
Over their stuff.
Yeah.
Because they were still putting out products and they were like planning big things, whereas like Spider-Man was kind of dead and
done.
Batman was going to be a Christopher Nolan thing, so they can be parodied all you want, you know?
Yeah, that's interesting. That could be.
That was just my takeaway on like the thinness of the X-Men stuff we got.
It could be.
Totally.
Yeah. All right. So,
I laughed at how after Professor Xavier gets zapped by his own son or thrown, Rick is like, "Oh, now I'll never know the secret to becoming a superhero." And Mrs. Xavier slaps him. He's like, "Make a costume."
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, they get dumber every year.
Yeah, totally. These are the plot points.
Yeah. So he designs himself a dragonfly costume. There's the bit with all the different costumes.
Yeah.
He goes out into the city to fight crime.
Well, he forgets to make a mouth hole and eye holes.
Yeah.
Which Troy points out.
And again, it's that almost cartoon logic where he's fine until it's pointed out he can't breathe or see.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he goes to the city. He's overlooking the city thing. We get a Human Torch bit here, so they tried to get the Fantastic Four in there.
So
I think
John Storm, like he asks him, Dragonfly asks him, like, what's your power? He's like, oh, watch this. He's like, flame on. And he bursts into flames. But then he's surprised.
Right. He even told him he was the Human Torch, I believe. No, maybe not. He said John Storm.
Yeah.
He said John Storm, yeah. So what did he think his power was?
I was going to ask. That was an unanswered question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget where the bit was done. Maybe it was Robot Chicken or something, but it reminded me of Johnny Storm screaming the entire time.
Yeah.
Just like that.
There are opinions being voiced here today, folks.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
So,
and again, to get back to the movie poster, John Storm was on the movie poster, and he's in this all of 2 minutes.
Oh,
yeah, he had
if 2 minutes,
60 seconds.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So we get like a real quick kind of few like bits where they say Dragonfly has been fighting crime, but he can't fly. There's
garners the attention of the press and Tom Cruise.
Like I feel like they just had this dude who could do a Tom Cruise impression.
I think so.
Wait, was this around the time that Tom Cruise was going crazy on the couch?
This was an interview. So for a lot of that, he's just replicating what Tom Cruise did in that interview.
Mm-hmm.
The spastic laugh or the manic laughing, and then the seriousness, jumping all around. But yeah, you're right. It's like, how can we use this guy?
Yeah, exactly.
I think was it around here where Keith David gave his quote. He's the chief or whatever, but he has a great quote where he's like, "Well, Dragonfly is just what Empire City needs right now, and a Hooters,
and a Hooters."
Woo! All right, back at his lab, Dr. Strom and Mr. Landers discuss the problem of having to kill a person each day. Then Dr. Strom realizes that if he had some ceruleum, he could draw the life force out of thousands at once and live forever. So Mr. Landers decides to create an alter ego and go steal some ceruleum. Rick begins taking pictures of himself as the Dragonfly and selling them to a newspaper for money.
They're just selfies.
Yeah.
You could see his hand.
Yeah.
Reaching behind the camera.
You must know him well. And they have a J. Jonah Jameson character.
Yeah, losing his mind.
He's a patient. And yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. All right. So then, meanwhile, Mr. Landers makes his debut in an armored super suit as the Hourglass. He steals some ceruleum and fights Dragonfly, then escapes.
His costume was cool. Sorry, Al.
Oh, go ahead.
That's all.
Oh, okay. I wanted to point out how he blew an hourglass shaped hole in the doors.
Oh,
yeah.
That's some Looney Tunes shit right there.
Yeah, he said, "I'm the Hourglass, and your time is up."
But also from what was it, Batman and Robin? When at the very beginning, when Robin drove his motorcycle through the front doors of the museum.
Oh yeah,
and it created the bat. The bat symbol hole.
Oh my god, that movie.
The bat symbol hole.
Yeah, it was
just tickle it a little.
A dig.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, they do the thing where they're spinning around the superheroes, but they both get dizzy.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
So then later, his aunt advises him to tell Jill his secret because he's in love with her, but he chickens out. Then we get the scene where she's attacked by hoodlums in an alley, and it's raining, and they kiss.
Okay, so she says bye to Rick on the sidewalk. They say goodbye to each other, but he's kind of still standing there. In fact, we get a POV shot. So Rick saw her run down the alley being chased by this gang. So in her mind, Dragonfly did save her, but she's like, wow, my good friend and neighbor Rick stood there.
Yeah.
It's a rough one.
Though to be fair, she's got that classic like Zucker blank like what's her face from Airplane and Anna Faris and Scary Movie, just that kind of like blank, like I don't recognize things that are happening. All right, so so at the lab, Mr. Landers sets up his life-sucking machine. There's the bit with Clippy and like
Clippy.
Installing the software.
He needs exactly 47,272 people to achieve immortality.
Yes.
No, to move up to the next level on the pyramid scheme. The Malaluka.
Ugh. All right. Then at home, Aunt Lucille and Jill are preparing Thanksgiving dinner, talking about love. She just keeps shoving things in the turkey.
The kitten.
Yeah. The giant kitten. Mommy. So that was used in Naked Gun many times.
Yeah.
But it is funny. And then she bastes it with wood varnish. And then it cooks for 2.5 minutes or however long Mr. Landry was upstairs.
Yeah. Oh, I noticed. Yeah, I noticed it's Thanksgiving and it's already nighttime. Before then, they're still making the turkey.
Oh, the funniest part of the thing she shoved in is when she turned it upside down and just put the liter of vodka in it.
Yeah.
Like you with a watermelon or something.
Just casually talking the whole time.
Yeah. Like, that's going to be a badass turkey.
So, all right. So, Lance and Mr. Landers show up for dinner. There's the whole bit with there's an extended bit about him peeing his pants on the ceiling.
That was one of the times where when it went to sprinkler mode, where I was laughing a little harder than I personally was comfortable with. So it's like laughing hard, but shaking my head going, stupid.
It was that one.
But, Laughter's involuntary. I couldn't help it. He saw that kid hit with a bus. No way I could keep a straight face.
So during dinner, Mr. Landers realizes that Rick is the dragonfly, so he leaves. Then afterwards, Rick and Jill are talking. They nearly kiss when Hourglass shows up and murders Aunt Lucy.
Yeah, it does.
Although that night, Uncle Albert comes out of his coma.
The whole fart scene was a little too long. And
Oh my God, yes.
But that's how you play a fart joke.
Yeah. There was one moment that I laughed uncomfortably loud when she put the tampons in her nostrils.
Yeah.
So casually.
Yeah, casually.
He just keeps talking to her. It reminded me of Blazing Saddles, the sitting around eating beans.
Eating beans, right.
Way too long.
Yeah,
you know?
you have to run the fart joke for longer than is comfortable. Otherwise, it's dumb when it goes...
it's two farts or something.
Yeah, when it goes on to the point where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it's still happening. That's when a fart joke becomes funny.
Yep. Yeah.
So, all right, they have a funeral for Aunt Lucy. Rick tells Lucy he doesn't love her in order to protect her. This is the moment. This is the point I was talking about.
Oh, wait, the first they're like, we're here to say goodbye to Aunt whatever, and everyone went, goodbye.
Goodbye.
I've never heard that joke before.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yes, he holds up his phone and says, "You're no longer in my 5."
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That is some dated shit right there.
I completely forgot that was a thing for what, a month? How long was the My 5 thing going on?
Was that a Verizon thing? Was that a phone manufacturer?
Or AT&T or T-Mobile? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, dated.
Yeah, super dated. Like he said that, and I was like, oh yeah, that.
Oh yeah. Like Al said, those commercials that ran for a month.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, he's very sad. The fake beard made me laugh a lot.
Yeah, you're wearing fake beards. And then he's looking through the yearbook and he sees her picture, and underneath it says, most likely to cause depression.
No, it was most likely to be masturbated to.
So then it was Rick that was... Somebody was to cause depression. It was my tagline.
I missed that one. I didn't see that one. But then he's also smoking vanilla frosting out of a bong.
Yeah.
He just smears it on and start. Yeah.
I tried that right after.
So Albert gives him a pep talk. And then on TV, they see that the World Humanities Awards are happening that night, and they realize that the Hourglass will attack it.
And that's so crazy because they show the Dalai Lama and other people like that. They show Nelson Mandela. I swore that Morgan Freeman played Nelson Mandela.
In this movie?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh,
wow. I swore from the past that it was Morgan Freeman. All right,
oh my God.
That's my Mandela effect.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
God damn it.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
It's from my fault.
Okay. So, they arrive at the awards and try to figure out who the Hourglass is. Landers tricks Rick into thinking it's the Dalai Lama. And then a brawl breaks out. Landers.
That's another weird thing that the Zuckers like, because I'm sure we all remember in the Naked Guns, most particularly the Queen of England, but they love to have like world leader lookalikes get beaten or farted on. Or
they do that a lot.
Yeah, because then like Nelson Mandela punches Desmond Tutu at one point.
Yeah.
What?
Pope, what's his name?
Yeah, Benedict, I think.
Yeah. Oh, it takes a picture of the Dalai Lama's penis.
Yeah. As you would suspect.
Yeah. So, all right. Landers kidnaps Jill. Dragonfly follows And in a Comic-Con, Jill gets mortally wounded.
Yeah.
By his freaking weird grenades with just knives out of them.
Yeah, they're supposed
He just keeps throwing them at her and they keep hitting her in like the stomach.
She got hit by one that was thrown by Hourglass. She threw herself in front of Dragonfly.
That's
right. But then Dragonfly pulls it out of her and throws it, and it just falls back down and sticks her again.
I love that when Dragonfly, he does the like slow motion jump in the air like Spiderman, like he's gonna dodge each one of them. It's just
earlier the first
like
time,
4 times. He's all, just
gets hit by all of them. Yeah,
all of them.
That's a stupid bit, but man, it was great. Oh.
So yeah, all right. He Landers runs up to the roof where his machine is, and on the roof he starts it. Then Dragonfly takes Jill up there. He heals her with the machine by touching Landers, Hourglass. Then he stops Hourglass just in time by blowing him up with a bomb that was strapped to his crotch. So you have to jerk this off me.
And she has a bottle of lotion in her hand.
When she gets that, she like rolls her eyes and is like, all right.
Oh, God.
If we were 11 or 12, it would be mind-blowing.
Yeah, it made me realize how little my sense of humor has developed since I was 11 or 12. Same. Yeah, he ends up like doing like a back handspring and putting his crotch in the guy's face.
Yep. Gold.
Yeah.
Minted.
Yeah. So, all right. Hourglass blows up. Jill falls off the roof. He jumps after her, and they make fun of how long it takes superheroes to fall, which we've been talking about since Superman, 1978.
Right.
Yeah.
The quote was, "This is a really tall building."
Yes. And once he sprouts wings so they can fly, he says,
"Oh, we only had 50 floors left."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that, so he learns how to fly or gains that, but throughout the earlier, Trey particularly, but everyone's giving him a hard time for not being able to fly. Like everyone, even people in the press. It's just like nobody can fly.
Yeah.
Nobody. So it's not like you know the U.S. flying team and they're badass and you can't even fly at all.
The U.S. flying team.
Right. Nobody can fly. Why don't you get off my ass for a minute?
His name is Dragonfly.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true. He should have been the cricket man or something.
So, all right.
Cricket man.
Jill
he just has one of those paddles and those lame
cricket man.
Yeah, world famous cricket player.
All right. So Jill declares her love for him as Rick Riker, and then they live happily ever after, flying off into the sunset. Roll credits.
And then he gets hit by a helicopter.
Yeah, they get hit by the helicopter. Okay.
I was like, nobody lives happily ever after.
The end where they're going through his powers. Leslie Nielsen's, he's like, can he fix a prostate? And what's funny about that is like, what does that mean?
Fix a prostate.
It's a real problem, man.
Yeah, fix it. Oh, it's upside down. That's your problem right there.
Yeah, this prostate was set to evil.
This alternator's got to go.
Set to self-destruct.
That would be where our self-destruct.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Be like, not only do you, you're going to self-destruct, but you have to really, really swallow your pride to get to it.
Yeah.
Oh, death, please. Yeah. Anyways.
So there were a couple of songs in the credits.
Uh-huh. 3.
The first one, it was credited as Super Bounce. When I looked it up on YouTube, it was called Superhero Song or something. But in the movie, it was credited as Super Bounce, written and performed by Drake Bell.
Oh, wow.
He's a Renaissance man.
That first credit sequence was Drake Bell, and then the second one was I Need a Hero, which was written and performed by Sarah Paxton, who was Jill.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. Did you guys, so then there were those extra scenes, deleted scenes that were halfway through the credits. Did anybody see those?
I didn't stick around for them.
I did not see them. No.
There was
I watched
more.
all the way through the credits and didn't see them.
Did you?
There was more of Tom Cruise. The one that I was thinking of earlier, there's Wolverine and like a tiny Wolverine
Yeah, I
on
didn't
his
see
back.
any of that. Where did you watch it, Josh?
I actually watched it on YouTube, the one you suggested, because my video quality was fine.
Yeah, my video quality was great. I watched it on YouTube. I just didn't finish the credits because I was like, all right, I'm out of this.
Yeah, I ended up renting it because it was only in 360, and I was like, and there were no closed captioning.
Oh, mine had really good closed captioning.
Really? What? Do you have access to a different YouTube than I do?
Well, it's called YouTube, so I assume it's mine.
Yes.
Yeah. I just share Josh's.
Yeah.
Josh puts you on his YouTube on his YouTube plan.
Yeah.
YouTube, his tube, all the tubes.
Yeah.
In fact, the band, the Tubes.
Yeah, that's it. It is what it is. It's funny. It's not a good movie, but it's funny.
Okay.
I laughed harder at the first 30 minutes of this movie than I have at all. How many movies deep are we on our list?
This was 72.
Yeah.
All 71 other movies that we've done.
Well, damn, none of you saw it, but pardon me, that's why I brought it up. The extra at the credits, the deleted scene with Tom Cruise. He does this thing where he beats on his knee, but he's like, "Old MacDonald had a farm, and Bingo was his name." Just flipping out, and that just made me laugh a lot.
Well, did we even mention that Tom Cruise dies? Because he's like, I can fly.
Oh, that's
I can fly.
right.
And the newscaster cuts to like, Tom Cruise is dead. And it's just him like dead on the ground.
And the line underneath just said couldn't fly.
Couldn't fly. See? That's my point.
There's problems with the power of belief, folks.
Yeah, there is.
Believe everything your multi-million-dollar organization tells you to believe.
Exactly.
No. So, I don't know. Do you guys want to? I don't know. Anything else to say about it before we put it on the list?
No. It was a breath of fresh air. Yeah. It was nice to laugh again, to love and live.
Run through the fields, fancy free and footloose. Yeah. So, all right. Here we go. Let's rank it. We'll put it on the list. I had a hard time figuring out where to put this because it is so different from every other movie we have put on the list so far.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess where I was kind of looking around was it was kind of around the area of where is it? Of Swamp Thing 2. Where'd that go?
Yeah, it's on par with that as far as comedic value.
Yeah, that movie did make us laugh. I forgot that we had all kinds of weird.
It was intentionally funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tubers.
The tubers. Yeah. Oh, where'd it go? I lost it on the list.
The only way out is through.
Return to Swamp Thing is at number 28. That's remarkably high. To be fair.
Title of my autobiography.
Yeah.
I'm looking. It shouldn't go much further, much lower.
I mean, I guess it's better than the Fantastic Four movies, and it actually accomplished what it was attempting. Better than...
It was less boring than the Fantastic Four movies. I don't know if it was better. It was better than 2.
Is it
better? I don't know, but more satisfying. I laughed. It was nice to laugh, and I don't mean to joke, but we watch a lot of bummers.
Where was Blankman? Blankman's at 32, so that's kind of... And then Meteor Man at 34. So yeah, somewhere between
around there.
Somewhere between 28 and 34.
With 28, I mean, this is definitely on the high end of all the movies that made us laugh, for sure.
That's true. And then it puts Buffy, Swamp Thing, and this. Those are all comedies. Well, Swamp Thing maybe not, but it is.
Yeah.
But unintentional.
So down there, yeah, maybe above Blade Trinity. Is that what you were saying? Or above Swamp Thing? Y'all freeze, or you just not speak?
Al, what do you think, Al?
Al can decide. Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to have to decide.
He has the power.
I'm stuck on Supergirl because I don't know. soft spot in my heart for Supergirl.
Squad.
As a movie, which is right above Superman. I'm right above Meteor Man, right below Blankman.
Right.
But I also agree that as far as the comedic movies, this was
up there.
Maybe better than Blankman.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't think Supergirl accomplished what it set out to do. I think this one did.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
I don't want to split up the Fantastic Fours. I think they should stay together.
The family should stay together. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also having a hard time picking a place.
Okay, 28.
Yeah, I'm into it.
All right.
Yeah.
Number
29. Let's put it below Swamp Thing. Return of Swamp Thing. 29.
Below Swamp Thing at number 29.
Seconded.
Third, the motion passes.
All right. Let's do it then. So number 29. We'll put it right there. And there we go. It's on the list now. Number 29, our 72nd movie. And that means, everybody, that it's time to announce next week's movie. Everyone, next week, we will be watching and discussing Iron Man.
Oh, thank God.
Wow. First MCU official. Wow.
We
the lead
finally
up
got
to
there.
Endgame.
Yeah.
Begins.
The journey begins.
We finally made it to the modern superhero film. Yeah.
All right.
So
I'll take that.
Tune in next week, everybody. We'll be talking about Iron Man. Thank you all for listening this week. We appreciate everyone for tuning into Harmless Phosphorescence. This has been your host, Throw Smiley, and it's time for me to go because I shat my pants.
I'm Josh CC, and it takes me an hour to pee.
I know the mayor of Venus, and hamburgers can see the future. I'm Brian Lesh.
I'm Alaric Weber, and I'm going to go look on MDNet to figure out what's wrong with Britney.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.